Здравейте, драги зрители на eSports България! Добре дошли в нов епизод на предаването Headshot. Не сме имали такъв от изключително много време, за което разбира се извиняваме. Надяваме се обаче, че с интервютата от мейджора в Копенхаген сме успели да компенсираме и изключително много ви благодарим за подкрепата и за това, че толкова много всъщност се зарадвахте на това, което направихме. За нас също беше огромно удоволствие. Както виждате обаче, въпреки че мейджора приключи, все още не сме приключили с това да интервюираме чуждестранни играчи. Макар че ми е много странно да нарека този човек, който седи до мен в момента чуждестранен, тъй като той буквално живее на едни 100-150 км от българската граница. Става въпрос, разбира се, за новоподписалия с състава на Bleed играч Владан, който, разбира се, е бивш играч на Zero Nation и на iNation, където игра с Чойв, който вие много добре познавате. Интервюто ще бъде на английски, тъй като, както виждате, той се усмихва, защото разбира някои от нещата, които говоря. В крайна сметка обаче не можем да си проведем цялостен разговор нито на български, нито на сръбски, за жалост. Така че интервюто ще бъде на английски, но ще ви оставим субтитри, както за интервютата от мейджора. Нека започваме. Владан, брате, I saw that you understood a big part of what I was saying there. I saw you smiling. Yeah, thank you for coming by. Myself and yourself, we just did an hour-long interview for my own channel in English, which people, I guess, could find down below. But now, we will focus on the Balkan side of things. We will focus on you. We'll focus on the Balkans. We'll focus on you playing with CeRq and stuff like that. But I just wanted to start it off initially with, how are you feeling? You just signed your permanent contract with Bleed around a week ago. So how is Vladon feeling right now?
Vladon is feeling really good, man. Thanks for asking. I'm super hyped that I get to play with the teammates that I have now, especially with CeRq. CeRq is a cool guy, funny guy.
saying that because we're doing it for Bulgaria now.
Kinda. I'm kidding. But I really mean what I say. Cvetelin, he's really fun to play with. He's a really good guy. He knows what he's doing, so I enjoyed playing with him.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you about CeRq a little bit more. First of all, though, I wanted to ask you about Bleed in general, because like now Bleed is looking like a Balkan project that you're there, and that interests a lot more people from Bulgaria too. Because obviously you have Kasad, who's being the coach, you have CeRq, and then you have yourself. So how was the entire introduction process into Bleed? Because obviously you were just a stand-in for, well, you were on a trial, I guess, technically initially. But for a lot of people, maybe Bulgarian fans that don't know, you used to be a player on iNation, then you were standing in for ENTS for a short while for the CS Asia Championship, where you made semifinals and you beat NIP and you nearly beat FaZe on the big stage, and then you played on Zero Nation a little bit towards the start of this year, but you couldn't qualify for the RMR. So how was the introduction to Bleed? How did you get in contact with the organization, and what were your first impressions of playing with the team?
The first time I got introduced to Bleed was when Kasad contacted me. He contacted me like late December-ish. But it was back then when I just signed with Zero Nation, so I couldn't like go and play with him. But after Zero Nation, like unfortunately disbanded and left us out, like terminated our contracts and stuff. Then I was a couple of days, like a couple of weeks, just chilling around, and Cassett contacted me again because they were making a change in the team. It was Cypher back then, Kai. And then I started playing with them. We were practicing for 2 weeks before we had an official against Mouse NXT, which we unfortunately lost because we choked the shit out of it on the last map. And then they decided like that period was a bit rough at that time, which I was not really feeling the team. I was not like comfortable. I didn't want, like 90%, I didn't want to stay there. Then we made another change, and I had a commitment like to play with them like officials more. They benched Lau and bring back Kai, Kai Cypher, for those who don't know. And then the team started playing really good. The atmosphere was like really good. We were like winning. We had like 12 best of 3s and 110. One is with Lau when we played against Mouse NXT, and the second loss was against Fnatic in finals of Res, where we showcased really good teamwork, a really good individual skill like everyone. And then I changed my mind. Like I was thinking about it a long time. and I really felt the team again. I wanted to play there like with all of them, and I signed.
Okay, and then you sign. Obviously, it is your first, let's say, proper international team because 0-0 Nation didn't last too long, right? Was it easier for you to integrate having people from your own region in the team, like having Kassad, who back in the day we were talking about this one off camera and in the other interview, but back in the day he used to actually express his feelings. Well, not feelings. It sounds too romantic, but express his support towards you as a player on social media. So was it a little bit easier having people like Kassad, like CeRq around to make you feel like you're, well, pretty much in a half Balkan project?
Yeah, it sure does. Like, it helps a lot that that I in a team have a coach that's from my country. Our manager is also from Serbia, and our analyst Marin. Shout out to him. He's a really nice guy. He works a lot, and he's from Bosnia. Like he's a Croatian from Bosnia, I think.
Okay.
So I have a lot of people around me that are like they can talk my language. It's super fun, like to have them. It's
Okay.
nice.
And
Makes it easier.
you told me, because obviously I would assume that Bulgarian fans would be really interested to hear what your opinion is on the entire atmosphere in the team, how you guys are gluing up. Because the last time that CeRq was on a team, on an international team, was back in EG, right? So that was a long time ago. And we have that trait here that where when you have a player like, let's say, Poison when he was on Complexity, CeRq when he was on EG, but when CeRq was on EG and NRG, we would just, I think, invest ourselves in everybody else, so that team automatically becomes a Bulgarian team. So you're looking at Tarek, you're looking at Ethan that have nothing to do with Bulgaria, and you're like, yeah, those are our boys. This is our boy. So I would think that people would be really interested to hear about it. But what do you feel like the team dynamic is inside of the lineup? What would you say your relationship with the guys is off and on the server? What is your opinion just on the lineup itself as a 5-man roster?
I'm gonna say like this: every single guy on the roster is super fun and entertaining, and I really enjoy like spending. Even after prac, we hang out on TeamSpeak and we just talk, like laugh a lot. They're super funny guys, and it's like really nice to play with them. And I think it's really important to have a team like that, like not only for like a 9 to 5 job, you're on TeamSpeak like from 9 to 5, like play the game and just get out after the practice finish. It's super nice to like have a relationship off the server as well. It's super important for like team chemistry and team performance.
Okay, it's really nice to hear that you guys are having this, especially I guess it transitions into the success you've been having in the server, but let's get to the nitty gritty of it. So you are an eSports Bulgaria channel, and you have a Bulgarian, a specific Bulgarian Oper on your team that happens to be the most successful and decorated Bulgarian player ever in CSGO. So how was it just what was it like just getting introduced to playing with CeRq? How do you feel about him as a teammate, as a person? Obviously he's a really experienced guy, and he's the player on the team that's won the most trophies, that's won the most tournaments, that has been in the #1 team in the world at some point. Do you feel that experience when you're playing with him that he's got from back in the day?
Yeah, for sure, I do. Like Tsetsi. It's a cool nickname.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call him Tsetsi from now for sure. Um, he does like translate a lot of his experience onto us when we play. He knows how to handle like some situations and to help us. I mean the people that are not that experienced like myself. So it's really good having him around as a teammate. He's a really good guy.
Okay, and what would you say about, because he's been receiving a lot of criticism, I guess, for his performance on a purely individual level, right? When you open up HLTV and you look at the statistics, and you're seeing an open, most people would just think, okay, the rating's low, so he must not be doing fine. So, what's your take on that? What's your opinion, straight up?
As I said in previous interview, man, people that like judge on a player based on his statistics have no fucking idea what they're talking about. They don't have a clue, like how to play the game, how the game works. CeRq is a really unselfish guy. he's a more of a supporting opera, which I do like. He's not like a flashy opera that's gonna go flick shot everywhere, jumping 360, 180, and stuff like that. He knows how to make you a better player, like how to support you to get what you need to do, what you need to do to set you up, and that's the thing that people do not see, and they do not appreciate him as a player because his rating is not 130, his impact is not 150. You know, he doesn't get 30 bomb every game. Like, he doesn't need to do that to be a successful guy, to be a successful opera, good opera, which he really is.
I'm really glad to hear that. I really am glad to hear that, because it's one thing us saying it, people that are just watching the game. It's another thing hearing it from a person that's playing on the same team with him. I guess I was going to ask. You said that he's a little bit more supportive now, but we all remember him from a couple of years ago when he was that flashy opera. He was that really aggressive opera. Do you feel like he still has it in him? Do you feel like he can still pop off at times? Because obviously you get to see him play a lot more, right? You're with him in the server for all officials, for every single practice.
Yeah, he doesn't go for that flashy plays anymore. But when he does, he always delivers, which is amazing. I remember one round, like in semifinals of Res against Bad Boom. It was overpass. We had the lead and we started choking a bit. It was 11-10, I think, at one point, and CeRq just goes into a site and kills 4 with op. Like, he's an opera that can deliver like on a consistent basis, which is a really nice thing to have.
All right. That's really good to hear. I guess that's enough about this. One other bonus question that I wanted to ask you, that's involving, I guess, the Bulgarian scene, because you yourself are a guy that has played a lot of tier 2, tier 3 CS. You've been on a team with Choiv, who's a beloved Serbian player for all Bulgarians. We kind of count
He's
him
a
as
half Bulgarian.
Yeah, we call him a half Bulgarian. We do call him a half Bulgarian. But let me know what's your opinion on the Bulgarian scene in general in the last couple of years. Is there a really memorable game that you've played against the Bulgarian team? Who is there a specific player that, for example, you think is one of the hardest ones to play against from the region?
I mean, Bulgarians are always tough to play. I don't have any like games or players in mind. But I know that every time we played against them, we had to give our 100%. Like, we had to give our all best that we had to win. Sometimes we didn't, sometimes we did. It doesn't matter. But for example, 500, I think they're the hardest to play against. They have a lot of good players like Rayvaker, Ships, Denislav. They have a lot of players that can pop off. The one thing I don't really like about Bulgarians and our scene in general, like Balkans, is the thing that we shuffle a lot of same players.
Okay.
There are no new talents that are coming in. Of course, Bulgarians have like Screamo is a young new talent. He's really good. I like him a lot. And then you have Rainwaker that played in Liquid. You have Denislav that he played in 500, and he's really good with op. Ships is also good. I don't know why he never. He did play in international. I think
he played on Contact and in Valiance, but didn't stick around for too long.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't want to get into it, but I think he's really good. They have a lot of good players. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sure. And you actually touched upon something really interesting that I wanted to ask you about, because I think it's probably the best topic that we can discuss, me and you, in an interview like that, because this is one of the things that myself and obviously my colleague Martin and all the interviewees that we've had here, all of the players, all of the coaches that we've talked about or we've talked to, one of the main things that we've been mentioning is that Balkan, and obviously we were talking about the Bulgarian scene just when we were discussing it, but I think that transitions to the Romanian scene, the Serbian scene, probably to some extent the Turkish scene, but we can't really get them involved because they already had a team that played at the playoffs of a major. But let's focus on the Balkans as in really good individuals, but people that can't make successful teams for whatever reason, and that are shuffling constantly. Why do you think that is?
I think it's the lack of players. Like our scene in general, I'm
Sure.
talking about Serbian. We don't have a lot of players that are willing to grind and work to be better one day. Of course, we have some like young talents, Zeko, I don't know who else there is there, but uh, there are not enough, just not enough people that you can invite to play in a team with.
Mm.
That want to get better, they want to grind, they want to learn. I just think all of them are like playing facets and stuff. They're not improving, and that's pretty much why we are like. I remember before I went professional, I remember like for Glory and stuff like that. They were shuffling always the same players. Like I only gave for Glory as an example because I remember the organization,
Sure.
but it was like Blue Jays as well. They were all shuffling like Collins, Dimke, D, Shareni, AVN. Dragon, Kindo, and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah. And
Always like Emmy, like there always been like 10 players
sure.
that are playing
Sure.
in every
And
single team.
why do you think that is? Why do you think people are not? Because it's the same. I guess it's a pretty similar case in Romania too, and Bulgaria and Serbia. People are just constantly changing players, but very rarely you're actually gonna see a really new guy that no one's heard of get signed up
Yeah.
by a team like that. Why do you think that is?
I have no, to be honest, I have no idea, man. Like, I don't know what people are doing. But when there's like, uh, fucking Donk, for example, like smashing everyone with 17 years old.
Yeah, so you do believe that the Balkans should be given chance to more of the individuals. You were, I guess, you were part of a couple Serbian teams, right? iNation being the most notable one. One other thing that has been discussed and mentioned as a topic is the fact that it's sometimes hard to, and I guess we've heard that from other coaches and IGLs from the region. Reason I'm saying that, sometimes hard to actually communicate and make people take the game seriously, and even if they are taking it seriously, make them open their minds, so to speak, to other people's opinions and other people's views. So have you ever felt that level of arrogance, maybe even if we want to go as far as saying arrogance in some of the Balkan teams that you've played on? Why do you think that is existing as a problem in the region?
I think it's a problem with mentality, like
Mm.
single-handedly the problem that's keeping us from being like successful. I don't think there's like lack of people are talented, but they're
Sure.
not working hard. They're just like in their minds, okay, I'm getting 20 kills on face it, I don't know, like, and they're just like egoistical. I think ego is our biggest problem, like
Okay, and
on Balkan.
how do would you say how would you say people are supposed to fight that within themselves? So imagine there's a 16-year-old young Serbian player, or Bulgarian or Romanian, it doesn't matter, but a 16-year-old young guy from the region that's incredibly skilled. What are the advices that you're gonna give him to make sure that he doesn't go down that path? What is the direction that his mind should be going to? What are the things that he should be doing in order to succeed, in your opinion?
I'd say like in pretty much every sport. I like to compare CS like with any other sport with the things that are in it. I just think it's smart to keep your head down, work hard, and let the results speak for themselves. Like, don't get ahead of yourself. If you do make some progress, if people start talking good things about you, just don't develop that ego, like that you are better than everyone else. And then when someone tries to criticize you, you shut up. What are you talking about? You know, you don't know what you're talking about.
Mm.
Like I hate that kind of attitude, especially with the young guys.
Okay. And have you ever actually felt like a person that's had that attitude, or you've always been a bit more humble?
I've always been a humble guy, but if some people are like talking nonsense, then I'm gonna argue with it. So I think that there's been a couple of times where I'd use my like ego and stuff like that, where
Sure.
I'd let my ego get the better of me.
Okay, this is a
For sure.
really good advice. I think this is a really good thing that we can say. Obviously, I don't want that interview to sound too negative, but those are things that we're trying to address, and I think it's really good and healthy for younger players to be listening to words like that, especially coming out of people that are playing on a bit of a higher level in the region. One of the last things that I wanted to talk about, and obviously I wanted to keep it a little bit more positive for the end, because that's been a really negative, I guess, conversation all
Yeah.
in all.
A bit.
But you guys, it's been realistic, to be fair. I would call it realistic, but you guys have been getting some really good results with Bleed recently, and as you said, the atmosphere is really good. Everything's looking all right. I guess people would be really interested, and I think that would be a good way to put an end to the interview. But have you guys set any specific goals for yourselves, as in qualifying for bigger events? Do you feel like you're getting close to the level where you can actually compete with some of the best teams in the world? What are the plans looking like, and what's your feeling about the level of the team right now?
I mean, the goal is always like, even individually, not only team-wise, is to qualify for the bigger events and play as many as you can.
Mm.
But for now, we're taking a step by step. We're playing Elisa, we're playing Yala. Another rest season is coming up
Yeah.
soon. So we're just focused one step at a time, game at a time, and we're trying like to use the most out of it. Like if we can, we want. We don't need to. We want to win every single one. Sometimes it's not possible. Sometimes you have a bad day. You make a lot of mistakes, and it doesn't go your way. But it's fine. We keep working. We keep grinding, and hopefully, we manage to qualify some big events, win some events. Yeah, get some points.
Hopefully, we all wish you that. Thank you for agreeing to have that conversation after an hour-long interview. We had 20 more minutes, which is probably exhausting for you at this point, but I really appreciate it. Lastly, is there something that you would like to say to the people that will be watching this? Because believe me when I say that, when you're playing on a team with CeRq, you're getting a lot of love from Bulgarian fans.
I love the support you guys are giving. I know it's mainly because of CeRq, but I appreciate it and thanks for that. Just keep on supporting us, and we hopefully do not disappoint you.
Thank
Go
you.
Bleed.
Go Bleed. Go Bleed. Well, what can I say? Hvala, brate. It's been great. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. And I wish you, obviously the team and CeRq, but you in general as a person, as a player individually, all the best. It's been great talking to you. Драги зрители, благодаря ви изключително много, че гледахте това интервю. Надявам се да ви е било интересно. Разговорът, разбира се, ми се иска винаги да е малко по-дълъг, но за момента ще трябва да се задоволим с тези 22 минути. Разбира се, аз съм Теодор Борисов, с мен беше новоподписалия с състава на Bleed Владан, който, разбира се, вече отскоро е съотборник на CeRq. Продължаваме да следим изявите на Владан, продължаваме да следим изявите и резултатите на Bleed, продължаваме да им стискаме палци, а вие, разбира се, продължавайте да ни подкрепите все толкова и да проявявате толкова голям интерес към интервютата и към контента, който ви предоставяме, тъй като колкото повече интерес, толкова повече и на нас ни доставя удоволствие да ви радваме с толкова много интервюта. Благодарим ви, че бяхте с нас, бъдете здрави и ще се видим отново много скоро. Чао, чао!
С Богом!